So I probably look a bit wrecked. I've just been to the gym. I'm quite knackered. Um, all my muscles are like not proud of me. Anyway, I've decided to because I've done the book reviews and the Blu-ray and well, not reviews, but like where in each one, in the PS5, PS4, PS3, and all other PlayStations, and also the books and the Blu-rays are like said brief little like mini reviews in each one. These are getting foggy because I'm all these are getting yeah. Um, anyway, I was giving brief reviews, and I decided that I like reviewing things. I like saying my opinion. Not that I think my opinion is better than anybody else's. I just like sharing my thoughts on things. So I thought, why not just? I've got a plan, and this is gonna kind of update the channel as well. I believe I'm gonna post a video every now and again, um, once per episode. I believe I'm gonna review from. I'm gonna rewatch them. Every time I rewatch them, I'll make a video like this saying my thoughts. So, um, my plan is to do Doctor Who from series one of the reboot, so Christopher Eccleston, all the way up until I don't know. I'm definitely gonna do my golden era, which is like series one to series four. I guess I'll do. I think I'll do everything at least until Peter Capaldi regenerates. So that's an update. I'm gonna be doing little videos like this where I just review an episode. I ramble on and talk about each episode. Doctor Who. Hopefully, this is like will be a little build up to the 60th. 60th, I'll be done by the time around about the 60th, and I might even do a video on the 60th. So, if you're a Doctor Who fan, that is good because that is my next plan. Anyway, so rather than this just being an update video, I thought, well, last night, my cinema has been doing, my local cinema has been doing, like, because of the 60th of James Bond, funny enough, um, they've been releasing they've been released like re-releasing the movies in the cinemas, and like not all of them. They've missed a few. They've missed one. Right. So 2 3 weeks ago, we started this month. I watched Goldeneye for the first time ever. That was great, but I'm not gonna review that. At least not today. So I watched Goldeneye for the first time in the cinema. It was great because Pierce Brosnan is my favorite James Bond. It's the 90s one. I grew up with him. Anyway, so then this they've skipped the next one, which is I forgot what it's called now. But um, the third one, which I grew up with, is the world is not enough, and so this one and then the next one are the ones I grew up with, which is no time to die is the bloody newest one. Die Another Day, Die Another Day. I love it. It's as I remember as a kid, it's so over the top and cheesy. Literally like fire the sun at people. It's like fucking stupid. Unless it's like a satellite or like a laser or something. And but anyway, Goldeneye is great. It's more grounded, essentially. Um, they don't have many music. It's silent, like at times, and you just hear like things in the background. There's not much music, and then there's like action scenes, but nothing like the next one. The Goldeneye felt like it felt like the other ones like, so I guess it's technically a golden eye, and the world is not enough review, but it felt like the old like 60 ones and stuff, because like films in the 60s it did have just long pauses and no music, and and like fighting with no music and stuff. But everything's gonna have music these days, so it's really like you get it makes you sit up when something doesn't have music, like an episode of Buffy, which I might actually review as well. The Body. I'll not say the spoilers, but that has I'll not say spoilers, but that episode has no music whatsoever. The credits kind of ruin that, but anyway, I'm not gonna talk about that. The day that episode ruined me. But anyway, so yeah, um, the world is not enough. I have these memories as a kid, and I remember these different scenes, and I was saying them all. It's like, oh yeah, so it was that and that, and then the ski scene that I like remembered like very slightly. That was great. Like the set pieces, just the opening. He's just James Bond in a Swiss banker's meeting, and like meeting room or office, whatever. And then action starts. Then he has to escape. He does like a funny thing where he ties himself to a guy and uses him as like kind of like a way to like, or like something to keep him from like just plummeting. Um, which was funny and clever. And then and then you're back at he's back at MI6, and then everything seems all right, and then spoilers by the way, for a movie from 1999. Yeah, I was 1 years old probably when this came out, or just around about coming up to it. Um, but anyway, so the guy explodes, and it's like immediately like, yeah, it's obviously the daughter. I remember it being the daughter. She did that, but what's great about that is like Bond works it out very young, kind of. I guess halfway through the film, but like the opening with the boat chase and all that, which is great, really funny. I love it. I remember that. That was so nostalgic. Remember that as a kid. That just long chase, and it's brilliant. I'm glad that they actually had music to it, the great Bond music. They didn't just have it silent, like which the last film would have probably done Goldeneye. Um, but yeah, and then there's the twist that the main villain, the scary scarred villain, which is normally always the villain. The scarred guy, he's the one behind everything. It's like, no, he got manipulated. It's actually the daughter of the guy that died at the start, King. It's Electra, which I've never heard anybody else be called Electra apart from obviously the Daredevil character or Marvel character. But yeah, they want to nuke the place or something. It's like the reason the villains want to do something in something like this doesn't really matter. It's just like a fun adventure. It's like it's just a movie where you can sit back and have fun, and but it's not like Fast and the Furious or something where it's really dumb. It's still like clever. It's like clever dumb in a way. Um, it's like perfect like 90s like cheese, and I love it. Which is why I was like, what I've been watching Buffy, but Buffy decided to just get really dark and serious, and I was like, okay, um, which is still great. But yeah, and like okay, when Bond he has that the villain, the bloke villain, repeats the same thing Electra said. It was like it made like it really zoomed into his face, and you saw his reaction, and then and then he like the musical like trumpets or something, or doo doo, like as if like he's noticed something, and it's like, could you not like not had that musical sting and not zoomed in his face, just had Bond like kind of like widening his eyes or look, and then after all that fighting that happens on that fight scene and the um the silo place blown up and stuff, after all that, then have um like Bond just come back to Alec Rangan. I know that you're up to something because he said the same thing you said. So clearly you've been around each other. And he knew loads of things that he shouldn't have. So you've obviously told him. And it's like, it should have just been like that. And then the audience should, like, the audience isn't dumb. I mean, there are dumb audience. Like, obviously, there's are, like, dumb people out there that might, or people with learning difficulties or even autism that might not like um, grasp it straight away. So I get that, but I don't know. It always feels rewarding if like the movie doesn't when the movies don't like keep a hold of your hand and like guide you through it. It's when if like you pay attention, like there's an episode of Buffy that I just saw yesterday where a character is smoking, and obviously you're not meant to smoke in hospital, but instead of a character's going, "What are you doing?" Because he's like, he's a vampire, he's like rebellious, he's in his arsehole, he doesn't care about anything. So it's like instead of like going, oh, a character go like making the jokes, like saying the joke, oh, you're not meant to be smoking in a hospital. There's just like if you pay attention, right behind him as he's lighting it up and smoking it, there's just a little sign that has a cigarette and a cross through it. And that was funny enough, and that was like that. Even like that, also like shows you that he's a character that just doesn't care as well, like about the rules, rather than a character going, "You don't like the rules," it's like just a show, you know. It was like a clever shot, and I love it. Um, but anyway, back to that, like yeah, that's a problem, and the ending is great. Like say the twist that like it was the woman all along, and she's actually really good at manipulating people, and like again, maybe you could have tried to like work out like how to just like show that rather than her going, I've always been able to manipulate men. I've been able to get away with everything, and they do everything I want to do just because I'm beautiful and wealthy, and like and as a kid, that was a shocking scene, and it still is a shocking scene with what Bond does, because it's like, you know, it's that mentality that like, oh, the main hero wouldn't shoot an unarmed woman, you know, but yeah, it's funny like how like as you get older, you like you can see the same scene but in a different perspective, because obviously I've been in some very like horrific relationships where I've been controlled and manipulated and abused by women, and it's and so like seeing that like in a different thing, like seeing that in a different angle, like oh yeah, this woman is just manipulating people and stuff, and then she tries to working on Bond, and okay, I wouldn't like for real life scenarios, I wouldn't go to this extreme, but Bond just fucking shoots her, and it's like it's just show that she thinks Bond genuinely like cared for her because they made love and stuff, and she thinks that yeah, of course, look at me, of course you love me, and Bond isn't that type of guy. At least I think they have done things in the older ones, and then they've done it in the newest one, where like Bond actually finally found someone he loves. So there's that. But the main theme is amazing. Uh, the whole I've got it playing in my head right now, like the opening. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a great blast from the past. It was yeah, the ending, the submarine fight was like just iconic to me. I remember watching that a million times as a kid. Um, like the story, like I said, the story isn't like the amazing story, but it's like you don't see. There's certain movies that the story, like the reason why a villain is doing something, isn't really the point. It's like you're watching a spy adventure with like crazy shit and stuff. I guess like the Daniel Craig ones want you to like more the story. I don't like the Daniel Craig ones. They're boring. I mean, I like No Time to Die, though I see faults, many faults in that as well. But I enjoyed it. I like, but yeah, I'm gonna watch 90s James Bond, the one that isn't gonna be in cinema soon, because after this fourth one, um, uh, the Die Another Day, which again I've got loads of memories of that. Oh, that fucking fencing scene! It's like amazing. So I cannot wait to see that. That film is like just got loads of iconic things. Like the ending is like a fight on an aeroplane. That's like just, I'm sure it's just like falling apart and stuff. Like wait, like doors are opening and shit, and they're like it's like and steady and shit, and yeah. Um, I really love Pierce Brosnan as Bond. Um, he's the one I think of as Bond just because he's the one that, like I was born in 1998, and then in early 2000s they were the ones that were like showing like more, I guess, or like I don't know, those were like the newer movies. Um, then Daniel Craig showed up in 2006, and I just didn't care. It's weird that like is Daniel Craig? I think he is. Isn't he like the longest running Bond? Because I think like COVID's helped as well because like No Time to Die was meant to come out like in 2020 or something. But I think it was delayed anyway. It was meant to come out like even 2019 or something. But uh, it came out last year, and like yeah, 2007 or 2006, 2007 to on like yeah to like 2021. Yeah, it's been a long while for him. I don't know if he's the longest, and I haven't looked up, and I can't be bothered to look it up. But Pierce Brosnan, like even like there was like say just for stories like that isn't in my brain because I remember all the games, Nightfire. There was a few like I remember there's a game where you're like one of the first missions you're like in like a like it's like in the is it like a Japanese or a Chinese like garden place and you're sneaking around and like there's a woman that works with like the person you meant to protect or something, and it turns out she betrays him and kills him. She was just using him and stuff. I remember that game. I would like to play it again one day. I might not hold up like, but yeah. Um, the games a kid like that era is just my era of Bond. I mean, God knows who's gonna be Bond next. I don't like the way they've portrayed Bond with Daniel Craig. I do not like it because they made it too serious. When yes, it's like, you know, like I don't know, like James Bond, like he makes jokes. I mean, like Bond always makes quips all the way through the Pierce Brosnan ones. At least I'm sure he does it all the way through the other ones as well. But like there's all like these cheesy jokes, and it's like, yeah, they're cheesy jokes, but it's fun, and like there's comedy in all of them. And like I remember there was this like fat American guy that like he wasn't even a spy, just keep showing up and got and like involved with Bond accidentally. Like he just ended up in his car, or ended up just like the American got into like a shootout and stuff. That was like in the 60s or 70s. Like, and there's a bit where like Bond like flies up on a bridge and like turns, and it like literally goes a whoop sound. It's like Bond has always been fun. Like I don't know why they wanted Daniel Craig to be so edgy and serious, and like then they wanted to like basically make it so, oh, Bond actually, you've known Bond to be a womanizer. Well, he actually isn't. He gets turned down by women in No Time to Die. Uh, like um and they've like gotten rid of like the Bond girl basically thing. Like the say, oh no, wasn't a Bond girl stuff. I just like they're just fun movies. Let them be fun. But yeah, um it was really good. Film blast from the past. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I give it. It might be because of nostalgia reasons, but I give it like a 9 or a 10. But like, this is a thing. Like, if you were, if for, it's 9 or a 10 for its era, definitely. Like, I don't know if it's like it's hard because like the way films change over the years. So it's like, oh well, it's very cheesy for the 90s, but watching the 90s, it would have like not been cheesy because it was the 90s, you know. But I don't know. I think it's great. I'd give it like a 10. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Brilliant. I love it. So that's it. I've had another ramble, and it's actually been one part at this time, so that's great. But thank you. Doctor Who reviews will happen eventually. Um, I'll be going through series 1 to series 13. um, Episode by episode. There'll be a separate video for each episode. I don't know how much, like how long these episodes will be. Hopefully, they'll not be like they'll not have two parters or something. Um, but like yeah, like I might not have much to say. Some I might have, but anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'm gonna chill now because I'm tired from my gym trip. Goodbye.